our broadcasting department, and our community impact efforts as well. And I'm entering this will be my 30th season, believe it or not.
Wow.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's gone quickly.
We have been. I follow. Well, I pretty much follow all the Cleveland sports teams. My favorite one to pick on's the Browns, but I won't go into that tonight. As far as the Cavs go, where are we going with them?
Hey, they're one of the top teams in the league. It's been fun to watch, and watching DeAndre Hunter's debut. And so I'm born and raised a Clevelander. I support all the teams and enjoy being a fan when I'm not working for the Guardians.
So tell us some promotions and events that the Guardians have this year.
So we just announced it today. So hot off the press, and obviously your traditional giveaways are coming back. We'll have our Sugar Dollar Dogs. We'll have our Free Shirt Fridays. We'll have our $2 free game in the district, the $2 beer promotions, fireworks, of course, Rock and Blast. A couple of the cool things this year. We're doing believe it or not, we're doing a mystery reliever jersey giveaway. So you don't know who you're going to get. You might get Hunter Gaddis, Tim Herron, or Cade Smith. So something unique and different. We're bringing back the City Connect style Hawaiian shirt giveaway. It's been very popular. We've got we're honoring the 1945 Negro League champions, the Cleveland Buckeyes. We're doing a Buckeyes cap. Tom Hamilton's being inducted into Cooperstown this summer, so we're going to honor him a night in August and have a giveaway for that. We have a Larry Doby bobblehead. We have got a Emmanuel Clase jersey. We have a Tanner Bybee City Connect bobblehead. So again, at the Guardians, we're always talking about value, and our promotional schedule is one of the best in all of the majors.
Those City Connect jerseys are amazing. I love them.
They've been very popular. So we have 2 more years of that. So it's a 3-year program. Actually,
always done pretty well with that. I remember back in the 60s when I was a mere child, I guess. But I remember T-shirt giveaways and everything back then too. I'd been to a couple of games that my dad took me to, and I think I don't remember who the heck it was, but I got a bobblehead for the one year we went there. It's good family entertainment. I love what you guys are doing with this stuff during the winter. It's very public. It's that using the stadium when you can and stuff like that. The promotions and everything you do during the winter are really working well for you guys as far as from what I'd see on the.
It's driving attendance. We've done that ballpark pass that is really, we have one of the best attendance years we've had since 2008. And a lot of those special offers and 6-packs, but really that ballpark pass has been a huge driver.
Is there anything? I know there was renovations with Progressive Field. What's new with the renovations? Is it gonna affect fan experience?
It's going to affect it very positively. So this is phase 2. Will be done by opening day, April 8th. We're 57 days away from that. So exciting. The days are dwindling as we go, but you're going to see a lot of things happen when you come into the ballpark. So first of all, if you come in the left field gate, there's going to be an escalator right as you enter that you can take up. We have a new place called North Coast Social. It's a season ticket holder area. But if you keep going up to the 4th level, the former Terrace Club, that's going to be called the Terrace Hub. And so we're pretty excited about that. Basically, it's a beer hall that's open to the public, and then that takes you right up to the Terrace Garden, which was the new area up in left field that we had last year. So that's a new space. We've got the clubhouses are going to be done for the players. Our executive office is going to be done. We're going to have a new area behind home plate called the Carnegie Club. So that's going to be all brand new. So you'll still see people sitting behind there, but it'll look a little bit different, and they're going to have access to a club right behind that space. So that'll kind of finish everything off, as well as the seats. Phase 2 of the seats will be done by opening day. So the majority of the seating bowl will now have navy blue seats. Only one more phase left of that. So a lot has changed in the past couple of years, and but April 8th will look a lot different.
It's so cool. I actually am one of the lucky ones who got to go on a tour of Progressive Field back in like 07. And it was cool to see like the behind the scenes under like the under the stadium, the clubhouses, the batting cages, all that. It was super cool. Even now, I just look back and like, wow, to be lucky enough to get that opportunity. That was so cool.
So those areas you talk about were not touched since the ballpark opened '94. So this is the first time the areas that people don't see, like you did on your tour, have been completely overhauled and addressed finally after 30 plus years.
Awesome.
That's all we have. As far as let's get into some of the stuff as far as the baseball team itself. Record wise, what do you think we're going to do this year?
And it's hard to put a number on it. We had such a magical ride last year, but hey, there's a lot of talent. Certainly, very impressed of where Stephen Vogt and his coaching staff led us last year, and we're looking to get a healthy pitching staff back. We added a lot of pitching in the offseason with a few trades, so hopefully we can fortify that rotation and go with one of the best bullpens in all of baseball, and keep that timely hitting, and players such as Stephen Kwan keep elevating their game, and stars that emerged in the postseason like Jackenzie Noel and Kyle Manzardo keep that development going, and we have a lot of exciting young prospects in the pipeline too. So we're planning for another exciting year, especially contending in the division, and we'll see how the season plays out.
You think there's going to be a rivalry this year more than there's been with Cincinnati?
Oh, there's no question with adding Tito to the mix. Tito's already come out and said he wants that Ohio Cup. So we've had it, I think 7 or 8 years. We haven't given it up. So I think you're going to see that. You're also going to see a rivalry with the Tigers. I think there's a lot of competitiveness amongst the two teams in the two cities with the postseason and us playing them in the division series. That's another matchup that I think is going to be very compelling.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Tito went down there. I really, he had perfection up here. I mean, of course, then again, he probably wanted the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He's a baseball lifer. He didn't do well just sitting at home. As much as he loves to play golf, he still knows baseball and wants to compete.
Let's hold on. I don't mean to run your show for you, Evan, but
wow, you just did.
Erik,
yeah. Okay.
Erik, Evan. One, it's tough having two guys with an E that starts their name. I look at one and think the other.
Well, I was
I'm an old man.
I had
remember.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder.
Go ahead,
but
Erik.
You mentioned Tom Hamilton earlier. What's it like working with Tom?
It's a blessing. He is the best, and so happy that he's being honored with this prestigious achievement. And kind of the best thing that you can as a broadcaster is to win the Ford Frick Award, and for Tom to reach that after his 35th season, it's pretty incredible. So he was blown away by it. Didn't see it coming. There's so many talented broadcasters out there, so deserving. So, but to work with him on a daily basis, he's so forthright and supportive of anything we need to promote the brand. And there's not a better ambassador of Guardians baseball than Tom Hamilton.
Evan, do you have anything?
Glad you asked. On that topic about media, can you talk a little bit about where we can see Guardians broadcasts this year? Obviously, the Cavaliers are with FanDuel Columbus Blue Jackets also since Bally Sports collapsed. Now, my understanding is MLB is taking over this. Can you shed some light on exactly where we're going to see the Guardians on the television this year?
Yes. So more details to come, but we have partnered with Major League Baseball, similar to what they've done for the Arizona Diamondbacks, San Diego Padres, Colorado Rockies last year. So us, the Twins, and the Seattle Mariners are joining it. So there's 6 teams that will be produced by Major League Baseball. So the best part of that partnership is for the first time, fans in our market have the ability to stream our games, and you spend a certain amount of money monthly or for the season, and you can stream our games, on our CLEGuardians.tv app, powered by MLB. But that blackout's been in place for years. So if you didn't have cable, you had no way of watching our games. So first and foremost, that's the biggest change, is you can stream our games in market. As we get closer to the season, Major League Baseball will certainly come up with agreements for some of the cable companies and be able to distribute that linear as well through the cable stations like Spectrum and DirecTV and things like that. So rest assured, we ask your patience. More information will be forthcoming as we proceed, and information on the streaming product will actually be coming out this week. So stay tuned here in the next day or so.
Awesome. That, like I said off the air, that's one of the things I've been following the most, is where the games are going to be. So weren't the ratings weren't they like up last year?
Hey, ratings were up. As we said, ticket attendance was up. So it was a fun season all around with, obviously new manager and a team that was playing well. And, we unveiled the City Connect uniforms that got a lot of attention and positivity from our fan base. So a lot of things clicked, and we made it as far as we could in the ALCS against the Yankees, but unfinished business as we head into 2025.
You said with the City Connect, it's a 3-year thing. Is there a chance that after the 3 years, they could continue it, but maybe they change the jerseys a little bit? Or
I think it's still TBD, to be honest. As we progress here, we know we have 2 more years of it, but it's certainly been popular with the fans. It's been popular with the players as well. We've played really well in them, so we'll see what the future holds.
Awesome. Pat, Evan,
go ahead. I know you got something.
Well, it's something percolating in my mind. You obviously talked about the young talent that you have. Talk a little bit about your number 1 draft pick from last season, Travis Bazzana. What are your future plans as an organization with him? Is he going to stay at Single A Lake area? I happened to see one of the games when he was playing, and had a chance to meet your son.
Thank you.
But he looks very promising. I'd just love to know what the plans are for him this season.
Yeah, I think that's to be determined. I think we'll see. Obviously, he played with Team Australia in the off season, and he's going to come into minor league camp and, look to continue his growth. So he had a phenomenal year as a key component to that magical run that the captains had last year. And so whether that returns to Lake County to start or Akron, we're not putting pressure on him. We want him to develop on his own terms, but there's no question he's an impact player. He's an impact person off the field, and we're excited to see that development here over the next few years.
Speaking of the next few years, I guess I want to change gears for once. I know Jimmy Donovan didn't have much as far as connections with the Indians themselves. But did you ever meet Jimmy Donovan before? And rumor has it that he's going to be inducted into some sort of a Hall of Fame Browns-wise. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that, but I go way back with Jimmy, and certainly a Cleveland sports institution, and we miss him dearly. And I got to know him through the many years him coming to the ballpark and covering us, as well as he did call games for us when we had the Channel 3 did the local TV package over the air.
Yeah, I remember that now.
He was the voice of the Indians on TV locally for a few years. So Jimmy's special will always be in our hearts. And, they honored him recently at the Sports Awards last week. And the Courage Award will be named after him moving forward, which is very, very cool.
That was so tragic of him when he
battled for so long.
The way he went. I felt so bad for him. But he was sportscaster wise. I always liked, Nev Chandler. That was one that I remember quite a bit about. As far as the one before him, Coleman, was it Casey Coleman?
Coleman, yep.
And
Fox 8.
it's those I followed for. Those were people from it. Even Jim, big, talking about just Cleveland, Big Chuck Shadowski.
We just lost him too.
And that was, I have realized the guy was 90 years old, but I still got a bunch of his clips. But it's just a shame the way these people are going.
Yeah, and anybody grew up in Cleveland, you knew about Big Chuck and Little John.
Yep, and Houlihan before that.
Yep.
And it just time goes too quickly, Curtis. It really does.
You aren't kidding. I'm with you.
When it comes to the TV broadcast, is Jensen Lewis coming back?
I will be announcing that lineup here, but no, he just got a new job. He's going to be working for I forget the name of the company, a sports gambling company, doing their sports shows and things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, he will not be returning for us, and he's heading to a new venture. But we'll still have him, as part of our alumni efforts when time comes. We need an alumni appearance, and I think he's staying in town, so that's good news for us locally.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I take it Pat Tabler will probably come back periodically then.
He'll be at some point, whether it's radio or TV and alumni efforts, but Pat's certainly so gracious with his time and such a professional broadcaster. So one way or the other, we'll, especially I think on radio, we plan to use him. So you'll definitely see Pat.
Okay.
Yeah, some people have a face for radio, as it's been described to me in the past. Not insulting anybody, but it's just Erik, what's next?
Yes. Oh no, I was gonna stick with the TV broadcast and just say the addition of Andre Knott to the broadcast a few years ago, I think was really good. He had so much behind the scenes insight. I really enjoyed that.
We hear it time and time again from our fans how much he built such great relationships with the players and the staff, and those behind the scenes stories he brings to life. And I know from a viewer standpoint, we hear that a lot from our fans.
I remember Mike Trevisano used to call him Andre Knott News.
That's another legend.
I love Trev. He was quite a guy. You want to go into anything? And what'd you think of the Eagles game? I
think I was rooting for the Eagles. So
was everybody here, pretty much.
Exactly.
Except for Erik.
Sorry, Erik.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But ultimately, it was kind of a boring game, unfortunately. I didn't have too much skin in the game, but at the end of the day, it's fun to watch the commercials. And now we've moved on to baseball season. Once the whistle blows there at the end of the Super Bowl, then it's baseball time. So looking forward to that.
It may have been a boring game, but my hands are still sore from clapping with all that. Oh man, I I've been putting lotion on them and everything, trying
I like the open of the show.
because
Eagles fly.
I decided that the beginning needed to be that, because I didn't expect them to win. I thought it was going to be KC, but if I would have done a pick on it, I probably would have picked the Eagles. You have to look at look at it statistically to see what you think. If the chances of Kansas City repeating were pretty much slim and none. The fact that when they came in there in the first, that Eagles defense was just killing Mahomes. They were handing his butt to him. And the fact of it was, when you go to, he was responsible for 5 turnovers. That makes it a little tough to win like that. But that Eagles team didn't. I don't think that I saw more than a couple mistakes out of them at all. Wasn't there one turnover that they had?
Yep. Yeah. One pick, but it was a domination, and excited for Nick Sirianni, the Mount Union alum, to lead his team to the victory. And so very happy, and congratulations to the Eagles.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I have kind of an off baseball and off NFL question. What do you think of the spring football and being what you do, and obviously you do some of the marketing? How hard do you think it is for those people that have to market for the UFL? How hard do you think that is for them to market?
Yeah, it's a great question. Not being in that industry, certainly don't know that to its fullest, but there's certainly a lot of core football fans out there that are looking for that next level, and seeing who are some prospects that can maybe break through in the NFL level. So they generally, there's a lot going on in the spring, whether it's baseball or the Masters, and obviously the NBA's finishing up. So, but there's certainly core football fans that we know that watch it no matter what.
Mm-hmm. I will say, as far as the Indians farm teams, I think they've got some of the best I've ever seen. The captains, and even the Ducks down here are.
That's that's the formula for our success. That's what made us pretty much going back to 2011. We have the top 5 in wins in baseball, second in the American League. It's really driven by that. We have to develop young players and draft well. And I think there's a stat over the past few years. We have the most, WAR from our draft picks. So that's the key to our success, like I said. And we have to continue to do that. And we had a huge draft last year, obviously getting the number 1 pick, and then drafting high and having the biggest slot pool in the history of baseball. That's going to impact us here for years to come as well. So that's our bread and butter, whether it's the Clippers in Columbus, or like you said, the Rubber Ducks captains, or even down in Lynchburg. That's the talent we need to execute at the big league level over time.
You would think that
we were hold on, Pat. We were talking about promotions earlier, and I forgot to bring this up. Did you? What do you think about the Ducks doing the promotion for 2 days, going as the Akron Galley Boys? Did you see that?
I did not see that, but I'm a big Galley Boy fan, so I'm all for the promotion.
They
announced it a couple of days, Friday, I believe.
Okay.
That's going to do a lot for Swenson's.
Yeah. The logo is kind of cool.
I'll look it up here after we're done talking, because I'm intrigued.
You would think that, talking about farm leagues and that, you would think that they could come up with something similar for the NFL. I know they try to use college to a couple of years of the college ranks and that. Some of it I think does pretty well, but some of these kids coming out of college, especially when you start down in the lower draft ranks, you'd think that they'd want to school them a little bit more.
Well, I think what you're seeing in some cases, because the NIL are players at the college level are staying longer because they can. If you're not going to get picked in the first round, you might as well stay and make probably more money at college. So that's been a huge sea shift as it relates to how long players stay at the college level. I mean, if you're a marquee guy, then you're going to go top 10, and certainly you're going to come out. But if you're going to be a third or fourth rounder, you might as well stay and impact your college team and make some money on the side.
What do you think of the transfer portal, and you mentioned NIL, but does it look bad on a player if they transfer multiple times? Is that kind of a character flaw or a red flag within us? I don't know if you would answer that or not.
That's a tough one for me to answer, not being in the scouting side of things. So I'd hate to say yes or no on that. I think collectively as an industry, we're learning what the transfer portal and what NIL is, how that's going to impact, players at the major league level. And so time will tell. But to answer that question, it's tough for me to say what that does from a, recruitment standpoint or from our standpoint, drafting and developing players and, bouncing from team to team, what that does for your development.
Okay. I know you said you had limited time and I want to respect that. Do you have a couple more minutes or do you have to? Okay, cool. Pat, Evan.
All right. The next thing I got to ask is, we were talking about a little bit of college football. Let's go back to that for a minute. What do you think of Ryan Day getting $1.2 million?
He just won the Buckeyes the national championship. So,
do you think he's going to have? Do you think he's going to have any problem with losing his job over another Michigan loss? I see the look. I know, hate to hit you with that, Cruz, but
I think the one thing we learned this year, and as difficult as that loss was, and my son went 0-4 calling games in that rivalry, but at the end of the day, it's about winning a national championship. And not to diminish that rivalry, but you can lose that game and still have a chance with the new playoff system to win it out. And whatever reason that propelled them to go on a phenomenal run and win 4 games in a row and win the national championship. So I know there's many Ohio State fans that might not think that's a popular thought because it's all about beating Michigan. And I get that, growing up in Cleveland and growing up in Ohio. But at the end of the day, it's about being the champion at the end of the season. And that's what Ryan Day and that team accomplished. And so kudos to them.
Yeah. I thought that that particular game was the real turnaround for that team for this year. I thought that, especially that flag planting that Michigan tried to do.
It galvanized them.
Oh,
it fired them up.
That just fired them all up and out of the doldrum they were in. And you got to see the real heart of that team. I don't see that in a lot of these other college teams. You don't even when you go to the minor league ballparks and stuff like that, you don't see that kind of heart in a lot of these teams. The heart to win. It takes.
We saw it with the captains last year.
Yeah, I know. I
visited a lot of those games, and those guys were out there grinding, and Travis Bazzana, and they're dirty. They're doing everything they can to win ball games, even at a minor league level. So it's really cool to see the heart that they got. Yeah, I agree,
and it really brings them together. All right, Evan, you're up next. You're over there snoring again. I pick on you. I pick on these two.
I'm having a tough time coming up with another one here. I've come up with the ones that I could think of, but
yeah, I'll put you on the spot.
go ahead. I just thought about something as far as the minor leagues. Maybe you can explain to us how people are either promoted or demoted through the farm system, since you have at least 4 levels before you make the big leagues. Do you have any insight as to when a player is considered ready to go from, let's say, single A to double A and double A to triple A, or backwards?
It's a fine science, and that's why we have a phenomenal player development system. It goes from scouting the players and drafting and bring them in, or signing them from the DR, or the international signing period. But once they come in, it's working off the player itself, and it's identifying, are they ready? What skills are they needing to hone to go from the next level? And I'm certainly not involved in any of those decisions. They don't want that, but it is. That's why people think you draft Bazzana number 1 overall, he should be in the big leagues. It doesn't work like that in baseball. So it's much different than the NFL and NBA in that regard. So baseball development takes time, and I think we do a great job at doing so.
What's the view from the teams around the league with the World Baseball Classic? In that way, I mean, do teams look at that as a good thing, or more as a risk where players might get hurt because they're playing extra?
I think it's phenomenal for the game as a whole. Branding the game of baseball worldwide, and the players that play in it, it's one of the best experiences of their baseball careers. So there is risk involved. That time of year when you're ramping up to have that level of competition, and especially pitchers ramping up so quickly, there's certainly risk involved, and but we certainly understand the why, and why Major League Baseball as an industry does it, because it is really good for growing the game.
Is there new rules that are being implemented this year?
So this will be 26. Next year will be World Baseball Classic. So they're doing the preliminary games to see who advances. So the early rounds are being done currently. I've not heard of, how they're going to implement the new rule changes, within the WBC. We'll have to wait and see, probably more so as we gear into 26. Is
there any rule changes? Sorry, I should have specified this. Going into MLB this year?
Nothing dramatic, not like the pitch clock. They're going to keep testing the ABS system, so the automated balls and strikes, and they're going to test it out in spring training, actually. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works with the challenge system. But nothing at the big league level for the regular season, nothing dramatic.
How does the ABS work? Because I don't know much about it. Does that fill the spot of an umpire, or?
Oh.
Okay.
So basically, the umpires are doing everything they do, but the players have the ability to challenge a call, just like you see in the NBA or the NFL. So they go to a review and see, hey, was that, you called it a strike, but it was a ball, or vice versa. And they've perfected at the minor league level. It's pretty cool, where it's almost like a fan engagement. They show on the scoreboard, was it a ball or strike? And, then the correct call is made. So, they're still testing things out. Again, it'll be interesting to see. Goodyear Ballpark is one of the sites that we get to see that firsthand this spring. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out at the big league level.
What's it like sharing a stadium with another team? Because I know with Goodyear Ballpark, you guys share with the Reds.
It's great. For people in Ohio, the fact that you can come and see the Reds and Guardians at the same time. There's a game every day at Goodyear Ballpark, whether it's us or the Reds, or sometimes we're playing the Reds. It's going to get ratcheted up a little bit, as we said, with Tito overseeing the Reds now. So I think that's going to ramp things up out in Goodyear this year and make it a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to Tito scooting by in his scooter as he heads. It's going to be a little weird for him to keep going down the road, Southwood Boulevard, to the Reds complex versus pulling into ours. So, but it works out great for our fans, and we're very happy out there in Arizona.
I don't know if you would feel comfortable divulging this, but is there going to be any like post-game concerts this year? Has the team announced anything?
Nothing yet. I don't think anything came on our promotional schedule, and I haven't heard any rumblings, but you never know. We had fun with Shaq last year. So that was a pretty cool concert. So if we can find a fit, then I'm certain we'll come up with something.
Cool.
We lost my whole train of thought here.
I brought up Shaq and sent you down a different path.
The poof. It's tough getting old. Go ahead, Evan. You look like you got something.
I wish I did. I'm in your class right now. Actually, I'll circle back here. Is this ball and strike system that's being tested in the minor leagues? Is it not unlike what has been used in tennis for the last couple of years to determine whether a ball has gone in or out? Is it something like that?
I think it's similar. Yeah, where they show on the screen kind of, and even the TV screen, did the ball hit on the line or not? Mm-hmm. So very similar in scope and practice.
Okay, following that question up, I would love to be able to vote on a referee call. Give me the chance. There's been some in the past that you just sit there and you go, huh? I can remember a couple in the, I was watching the Chiefs, the team before they got into
Ravens,
Bills,
yeah.
The Bills, yeah. They had two players collide over top of Mahomes. Never touched Mahomes. They collided and then kind of rolled sideways. They called the play that they called was
unnecessary roughness.
Roughing the passer is what it was. They never even touched Mahomes. And I would have loved to have voted on that one.
It was unnecessary roughness. Look at the rule. There is a part of the rule. I was listening to something earlier last week, and they said if you look at the rule, there is actually something there that would constitute what they called for unnecessary roughness.
Well, if they collided with the player, that'd be a different story. But they didn't. They showed the replay of that thing, and they weren't even close. Yeah, and I don't know. Weird. Some of the. One thing as far as the refs go. I know in the NFL they have trouble with them all the time. What is the training system for these refs in baseball?
Umpires.
Or the umpires in baseball. Is there a system there to train them?
It is. I mean, they're basically Major League Baseball employees, and when we took over minor league baseball, I mean, the process they go through and the training they go through and move their way up the ladder, just like the players, is very similar to the ascension you see a minor league player get to the big league. So they get graded, and now there's so much data even on umpires to find out who's the best and who moves up the ladder.
I mean, I know this was against at that point the Indians, but the whole Jim Joyce, Armando Galarraga, yeah,
perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know it was against the Guardians, but that's one of the calls that I, bring up in this situation, that unfortunately should have been a perfect game. I obviously I know you work for the Guardian, so maybe I am putting you in a spot, but that's a good example of something that, could have been at that point if there was a challenge system, maybe, which now there is, but maybe that could have been overturned.
Yep. And that's one of the reasons why there is a challenge system now, and a review system is for plays like that. Think about even going back to the mid 80s and the World Series of the Royals and the Cardinals. And so, I mean, there's so many, historical moments that could have been corrected with review. So it might add a little time to games, but at the end of the day, you want the right call to be made.
I mean, still, the average time for games is way down, even with 1 or 2 reviews.
Last year was the quickest since 1984.
It wasn't. I mean, 2 hours and 30 some
is
2 hours and 30 some minutes.
Yep,
that's incredible.
The game changer.
Yeah, I mean, some people hate the pitch clock because they say, "Oh well, the game should go on as long as it does for the price they have to pay for tickets." But personally, I'd rather a faster game. I know that's less value for the tickets, and if someone's driving from, if a Guardians fan is driving from Cincinnati to Cleveland, it's obviously more of a drive than the length of the game. But personally, I think it's better off with the pitch clock.
We just got rid of the dead space. Like, we didn't change the sanctity of the game. We didn't change it from 9 innings to 7 innings. Like, we just took out the dead areas of a ball game and, made it a lot more exciting. And I think that's a huge driver. And one of the reasons why our attendance is up since 2008 was because of that rule.
And I think that's what the fans are looking for in a way. Yep. You got, even with the NFL and that, they're trying to, it seems like the NFL is trying to change. They're trying to make the game safer. I get that, not a problem with it. But along with that, you're almost changing the roughness of the game. And instead of accomplishing a quicker game, what you're doing is you're adding a bunch of rules there that I'd rather not see them. This thing that they just added this last year with the kickoffs and that, it's ridiculous. And I can understand the safety point of it.
Yep.
But why? Why? It's players are going to get beat up one way or the other anyway. I mean, you look at some of the stuff you've even had in the past here, where you've got these people like Bob Golick that have got no knees left. Doug Deacon was the same way.
Yeah,
it's a rough game, but when you're paid $2 or $3 million for your body every year, I don't know, man. It's a trade-off. But I don't think it's fair that you paid somebody $2 or $3 million a year and then expect them to live with something like that the rest of their lives. But that's personal commentary, I guess, for me. There was another thing I was going to follow that up with, but I don't remember what it was now.
While you try to remember,
go ahead.
I would like to say one of the best parts of going to the game is the in-game entertainment, the hot dog races and whatever else you guys have in the game. That's probably the best part of going to a game. Obviously, watching the team is awesome, but the in-game entertainment is so fun to watch.
The key word there is entertainment. So we recognize that that's what it's about. And you certainly have the core element of playing the actual baseball game, but at the same time, we talked about the promotions. You brought up the hot dog race. Like, it's providing entertainment for all different age levels. And I think we do a really good job at that. And we have different fan segments. So you have the longtime fan that just wants to sit in their seat, but you have the younger group that wants to hang out in the corner bar. You have the families up in the kids club. So that's what makes baseball special, is we can relate to all different ages and have a lot of fun.
Joe, do you guys ever think about doing anything like the guitar bash that the Browns did a couple of years ago? I think that'd be cool. I always like stuff.
That's
that's entertainment to me. I love watching.
You've done a good job with that.
I love watching people, and I love watching stuff like that because there's so much anticipation. Because you don't know if that thing's going to break up or not. You could do a drum. Have a hammer and a drum. Oh, now next thing I know, we'll see that at the Indians game. Was there ever any chance of replacing the drummer that used to be there?
After John Adams passed away?
Yeah, John Adams.
No,
yeah.
we spent a lot of time talking about that, and for what he accomplished, doing that for nearly 50 years, 50 seasons. We didn't think anybody else should ever do that. That John owned that, and we keep his drum. We actually have audio of his drumming, and that we use that during rallies and things like that. And so we keep the memory alive with that, and we honored him with having his bench out there in Heritage Park, and we bronzed. We have a replica bronze drum to commemorate that and honor him for that. I mean, he basically gave his life 50 years to our organization. So that was the way that we were able, and we renamed the bleachers after him as well.
And that was not originally a team promoted thing. He just did it on his own. So that's the best part.
Mid 2000s that we actually, he would buy 2 tickets, season tickets, and pay for them on his own.
One for him and one for the drum.
For I think mid 2000s, 2005 maybe, if memory serves, we said, John, we'll take care of it. You don't need to pay for your drum anymore and pay for your season tickets. So you're part of the experience. So,
and I met him once. He really was a good drummer. I saw him play at
very talented.
He really knew how to play a whole set. It wasn't just beating on a bass drum.
Right.
He was just a great guy. Very cool. I only had a chance to meet him once, but he was a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah. We miss him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you, what do you want? Wake up, Erik.
Oh, no, I thought you were going to say something.
It looked like you were asleep.
No, I was.
Hope I didn't put you to sleep, Erik.
Nah, definitely not. This is probably one of the best interviews.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me, and I know it's taken a while for us to connect, but I'm glad we could finally do it. And the timing's good. We're pitchers and catchers report tomorrow. We're, like I said, 57 days away from opening day, or 12 days away from playing baseball in Goodyear. So the timing is perfect. So
that time going fast.
I know.
Good Lord. 57 days?
Yep. And that's just the home opener. We started on the road.
You guys will be sending the truck down there pretty quick.
The truck's already there.
Oh, the truck's there already? Oh,
yeah. Most of the roster's there already.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Good grief. That just doesn't seem possible. Anyway.
We'll have to get moving, guys, but it's been a lot of fun chatting with you.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Curtis.
Thanks for coming in, Curtis. It's been fun. You're always welcome here, just like your son.
Well, thanks for having him and myself on.
Speaking of Tyler, tell us a little more about his new job. We'd love to know more.
He's going to be heading to the big state of Texas. He's going to be broadcasting for the AA Frisco Rough Riders this year. So he finished his college career broadcasting the national championship and calling the Buckeyes, winning that, and then is now graduated and moving on to professional baseball, and will be in Texas to continue his career. So he's very excited about the opportunity.
He'll always be a Buckeye, though.
Yep.
Can't take that away.
Yeah.
Nope.
Thank you for coming in, sir. It's been a lot of fun. You're always welcome here. And tell Tyler we said, hey.
I will do that. Go Guardians. Enjoy the
Go
season.
Guards.
Go Guards.
Go Guards, go
Yeah.
Guards.
Okay. Thanks again, Curtis. Okay. And anyway, with that, I think actually it's probably a good time to wrap it up. I know we're a little under an hour, but
Yeah, we're at 50 minutes.
let's wrap for the night.
Yeah, we don't.
Thank you everybody for joining. Thanks Evan and Pat for being a part of it. And no thanks to me because I'm just here, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, I say let's wrap and have a good night, everybody.
I don't want to rap. I didn't like that rap on the Super Bowl last night. But
Oh, yeah, that we could have got into that, but
some of the
yeah,
commercials were pretty cool. Did you see any of them yet?
no, I'm gonna watch tomorrow. That's on my list to do tomorrow.
There was Evan. Did you see any of them?
I did. The one I thought was kind of funny was the Michelob with Catherine O'Hara and Willem Dafoe playing pickleball.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
did see that.
And that there was one that had Harry Met Sally. What's his name? Billy Crystal, and that woman that played the other line,
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
That was really good. The ones that I liked the best though, and these were both creative in their own rights, was that Seal commercial where it actually had that seal actually they animated him into a seal. And he was laying on laying on this rock and the face was singing. The face of the seal was singing. It was awesome. And then the other one that I liked, not on the funny sense, but more or less on the serious side, it started out with Harrison Ford talking about the freedoms in America. You didn't know where this thing was headed for. It was a 30-second commercial. You really didn't know where it was headed until about 25 seconds in. And he talked about the freedoms. And they showed the Iwo Jima thing on it and this and that and the other thing. And then he said, the way to get there is in a Jeep. And it showed 2 Jeeps, and that was the end of it. There was no huge mention of the product or nothing like that. And it was very well put together. It's reminiscent of, if you ever saw that Kodak commercial back in the 70s, where this, it was the song, The Green, Green and Grass of Home. Down the road I looked, and there runs Mary, the old oak tree and all that. And the only mention of Kodak in that commercial was one little square that had the Kodak emblem on it for 5 seconds at the end of that commercial. There was not the word Kodak was not in that commercial. I thought that was along the same lines as that. That was so well produced, it wasn't even funny, even for Chrysler. But I like Chrysler anyway, because they pay me to be alive.
Yeah.
But,
Did you guys see the Doritos commercial with the alien and like
they got stuck,
yeah,
the door shut? That was pretty funny.
where the dude was sitting on the couch and the alien was trying to like pull in the Doritos bag, and then the guy tries to lunge at it, grabs it, and then the whatever from the alien grabs it again, and they end up, sitting right. The commercial ends with them sitting in the same room or whatever. Yeah. That was probably the few commercials I saw. That was probably the best.
Did you say you had 17 minutes of these somewhere?
Yeah.
Can you
yeah.
send me a link or the file or something?
Yeah.
I
guess that a lot of them were out. Like my sister was saying that she was watching videos, like analyzing them before the Super Bowl. So they were released somehow way before the game even happened. But yeah, I'll get you the clips or the clip like right after the show.
All right.
Or now.
Whenever. I'd kind of like to see it. But anyway, we can do a wrap on this if you want to.
Okay. Yeah.
We're at 40 or 55 minutes. So.
Yeah, that's a good show. With that, thank you again for everybody listening. Thank you, you two, for being a part of it. And again, no thanks to me for putting together the show. Anyway,
Hosts never get any thanks. It's
what?
Hosts never get any thanks. It's a thankless job.
Yeah. The co-hosts get all the credit.
That's right. And we love every second of it.
Yeah. Well, Evan gets all the credit. You're just the board op.
Oh, I'm a board op, huh? Well,